I got away on holiday with my girlfriend, not knowing what I was doing. I'd had a conversation with Joe. I'd had a conversation with Dorsey at the time, and we were like, yeah, we think we're gonna have you back next season. Obviously, we knew Nigel was coming in then as the technical director, and I didn't know who Nigel was. That's how young I am. I didn't know who Nigel was, and obviously I looked up on him and found out he's goalkeeper. So I was like, okay, cool, this could work well. Come back in pre-season, done the full pre-season. I think we had a week without Luke, and then Luke signed. I played with Luke, played a couple of games in pre-season with Luke, played one game with the college, and then the season started, and we were like, okay, we need to get this over the line. So eventually, we got it done. Not longer we got it done eventually when Nigel took charge of. So I think it was the 22nd of September. We got it done eventually.
Quite late in the day then. What was the pre-season like for you? Like, how was training? Because I know training is very different now in pre-season to what it was 20 years ago. And we've had many a player come on in here and talk about how they were literally left feeling sick by pre-season because the amount of running they had to do and things like that. What is pre-season like in a modern day world?
Do you know what? The first day back was possibly the hardest I've had. Going back into pre-season, obviously the body fat is, I'll talk about in a bit, but it's my downfall. It's the worst day of the month for me, that. But no, first day pre-season back in. The watt bike became my best friend last year, but it weren't at the same time. And then me and Joe had to do the running on the first day. And as a goalkeeper, you're thinking, oh God, you see the pole set out and there's no gloves, there's no boots, there's no balls, you're just running. And that's not what you want to be seen as a goalkeeper. You want to just be diving around. But to be fair, now Joe tailored our pre-season as goalkeepers to how he'd want to do it. So you'd work hard, but you wouldn't blow yourself out to where you're going to burn out within the first couple of weeks of the season. So that again is credit to Murph and how he works, his philosophy really.
Would you say then that you dealt more with Joe than you possibly did with Ian Dawes, even though Ian was first team manager?
Do you know, it's a difficult one because obviously anywhere you go, your first point of call as a goalkeeper, it's a bit different when you're an outfielder because you can go straight to the manager. With the goalkeeper, you have, obviously, everyone talks about the goalkeeper union. You can go to Joe. I felt like I could go to Joe and speak to him about anything. So no, I did speak to Ian a couple of times about it, and it was the same conversation as the January. You gotta just be patient, just trust me, we're gonna get it done. And then obviously it was the Colchester game that it all ended, and then Nigel come in, and literally as soon as Nigel come in the Monday, he had a conversation with me on the Monday after training. Said, "Look, I've already had the conversation. We're getting it done this week."
What was Ian Dawes like as a manager then? A short period in charge, and unfortunately a lot of defeats around that time. It must have been a very hard time for him, but also a hard time for the dressing room.
Do you know what? He's possibly one of the best coaches I've seen, as in like football coaches. His attention to detail, and although the tactics didn't necessarily work on the pitch, he is possibly one of the best coaches. The sessions he'd put on, even as assistant under Mickey, the sessions he'd put on were very, very good. But no, it was tough time for me as well because I've never been in that situation. You know, of being everywhere with the team. I was still young, and seeing, it's fighting to keep the club up. End of the day, it always sticks with me. The first thing Nigel said when he come in was, "This club cannot go to the National League. It cannot happen. We've been there before, and we cannot go there again." And obviously, I will say, the lads saved the club in the end of the day.
What did Nigel do when he came in then that changed what was happening on the field? Because there wasn't an immediate upturn in results when he arrived, was there? It took a little while for things to click. But what, in your opinion, did he do differently that managed to get results and ultimately the club to survival?
I think it was just a second lease of life, really. I think, again, he just brought a bit of a buzz around the place with this. He's not the positive man, any. I think he did. He just brought that little lease of life to the boys that that they needed. And, you know, it didn't, I remember the first game, the Crawley game, it didn't go exactly how to plan with what happened. But soon after that, it did start to change. And obviously we went on the run at Christmas, and then we didn't have, we were touch and go coming towards the end of the season, thinking, can we do it? You know, it's not too far off. Can we do it? And then obviously it was a little bit too much of an ask. But no, he definitely come in, and it was, I don't think it's necessarily what he'd done. It was just the energy he brought that lifted the boys up. And I think once we'd done, I think maybe was it Accrington Stanley at home, we won 3-0 maybe. And I think from then everything just switched.